Hey gang, Ronin here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 10 Pan-European destroyer Halland. This is a ship that I think is very fun to play, and I've got quite a few replays in it. This just was a really fun game. It was close pretty much all the way to the end.
Action stations.
Epicenter map. It's always challenging when you're playing a DD. Why? Well, I mean, I imagine you've probably played the game enough to know, but on the off chance somebody new is watching this video, which is uncommon these days, but possible, I will say that, well, let me just pause it here real quick. These circles are the cap circles. These are, a lot of different games will have areas that you have to contest and try and secure, and that's what these are. Now, this map very often has one here, and one here, and one here. But with this, all three of them are set in concentric circles. And what that means is if destroyers are going to try and contest the caps early, they have to head into kind of the center of the map, right? Which puts you in jeopardy with regards to things like the Buffalo's radar, or in the case of a CV, aircraft. In this case, it's just other DDs primarily, but if you do get spotted, you can take shells from all these guys. You can take shells from Harlem or aircraft attack from Harlem. Gearing, good guns. Druid, great guns. You definitely don't want to get caught by a Druid in a Holland. Shimakaze, well, it outspots you by quite a bit, by over half a kilometer. And Kagero has a slightly better detection as well. So this is going to be challenging, but it'll be fun. So let's go on. So hopefully that clears up any confusion about what epicenter means for the perhaps 1 in 1,000 people that are playing this game that didn't know that already. Now I fully intend to swing wide on this flank because we've already got Shima and Daring in the middle. You can see them kind of at Delta 6 and 7. We've got an Akazuki on the wide flank the other side. But what I want to try and do is I want to try and look for opportunities to get the torpedoes at different angles. So if I headed this way, the torpedoes are going to take longer to get to target, and I won't have any idea what's out here. So I'm going to try and do some spotting, if possible, and then look for angles to get torpedoes on bad guys. Now that's what my radio location skill is telling me is the nearest ship to me. It's where I just pinged on the map. And I want Daring and Shimakaze to be paying attention to that, but also Ibuki, because I don't want him to sail out here broadside, get detected, and get blapped by the Georgia or some other battleship that may be on this side. Now I threw torpedoes through that gap on the off chance that I might catch a destroyer going through there. Now, Georgia is very quick, so I threw the torpedoes early, and I threw them at the corner of the island because sometimes cruisers will hide at the corner of islands. Now I just wait. I spotted a battleship. I don't want to push up here too close, get myself detected, and get caught. So until I know where the Druid in particular is located, but also the gearing, I don't want to push forward too aggressively. And I am detected, and that tells me that the gearing or Shima is here. There's the gearing. Am I going to fire? Well, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to fall back. If I fire, I make it too easy, and you can see that that was a risky thing for the gearing to push forward, but he spotted me, and that allows his entire team to open up on me. And knowing that they can all open up on me, there's really no reason for me to not have fired a little bit there. And now I'm just going to count on range to keep me out of harm's way. Now, Harlem is probably not going to throw more aircraft at me. It's possible, but he knows he's going to lose a lot of them if he does. So I'll just tank whatever happens here. I know that there are probably gearing torpedoes coming, and I'm going to try and get torpedoes. There they are. Try and get torpedoes on the Harlem and outrun whatever's happening here. And it's a very close thing. Yeah, that was a very close thing. But I anticipated that Gearing would throw torpedoes. I mean, he was angled for that. So, anticipating that, I had the speed boost going and I just ran ahead of where the torpedoes were. Now, I could be helping our Ibuki by having my AA turned on and then maybe using a defensive fire, but I didn't. Okay, so I caught something going forward there. Maybe the gearing? Now that definitely was the cruiser sitting back there, right, that I just put those two into. So if it was the gearing, the next time I see him, he's going to have a lot less HP, and maybe I just go ahead and open up right away. Now our team's done really well. I mean, they've secured to the second cap circle. You can see the enemy Kagero is in the middle along with Druid, and they're going to try and secure the center of the map. And there is gearing, and I did catch him with a torpedo. And he has got a lot less HP than he did before. Now I'm hoping he's going to turn my way, because in a gunfight, I could definitely take him out. But Ibuki beats me to the punch. And that's great for me. So I'm going to pause this here for just a sec and explain why I think that's great for me. I got this group of ships right here. This was the only DD this side, right? We know we got a red DD here, a red DD here, and a red DD way down here. Now look how many they had. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 3 of them, and not one of them is on this half of the map. So that's going to allow me to push this way. Maybe get some torpedoes crossing. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And as soon as the gearing's gone, I recognize that opportunity. And I'm just going to speed out here and try and catch some people with torpedoes. Now, if I'm successful, what that can do, and this is true in any game when you're playing a torpedo boat, if I'm successful, what that's going to do is it's going to cause these guys to either go nose into the likely approach of my torpedoes and then probably throw it in reverse, which is going to make them broadside to these guys. Or they're going to run and say, you know what, I don't want any part of these torpedoes. And if they run, I just continue to push forward. I continue to spot for my team. I continue to provide broadside opportunities, as these guys eventually are probably going to be forced to run away from my torpedoes, which are going to be now running this way. And that's going to give them a 90-degree angle to the Thunderer, Kearsarge, Alsace, Monarch, and torpedoes from the Daring and the Shimakaze as well. So all of that is kind of running through my mind as I'm seizing this opportunity. Now, it looks to me like Georgia plans to run to the north side of this island. And I'm wondering whether I can catch him. Kearsarge takes out the Izumo. Bad guys are down 2 ships, we're down 1. And this is far from over, but I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing here. And I'm just thinking of, do I want to wait? Do I want to throw the torpedoes now? Is Marco Polo going to sit there behind the island? If he does, is that going to open the door for me to be able to get torpedoes on him? And that's why I'm just going to go ahead and throw them out there, and I'm going to turn away because Georgia is very fast, and I do not want to get caught by the Georgia and find myself getting secondary to death. Georgia secondaries are very potent. If not spec'd for it, the range is questionable, but they're strong. It's a strong secondary ship. So I'm thinking, okay, Georgia probably detected those 3 torpedoes there, maybe the next one out. But I think that's still going to allow the rest of the torpedoes the chance to land on something. And they do. So I catch the Harlem there, and I'm able to finish him off. Now, the 2 torpedoes that hit him might have been torpedoes that would have hit the Marco Polo, but I'm just as glad to have the cruiser gone, because the battleships, they have a much harder time dealing with me than the cruiser would. Now, what's Marco Polo going to do? You can see Georgia, he's already decided, you know what, to heck with this. I don't want any part of this this Halland out here throwing torpedoes is more than I want to deal with. So he's going to try and cross the map. Marco Polo, he's pushing forward, and I'm questioning that decision because there's really not a whole lot out here on our team. And he's going to do the same thing. He's going to try and get around this island. And these torpedoes are really fast, so maybe I can catch him with one or two of these torpedoes. Because I'm almost certain he's going to round this island and follow the Georgia, which is why I threw the torpedoes where I did. So we'll just watch and see. And that is exactly what he's doing. So now it's just a question of what will the angle of his ship be to the torpedoes when the torpedoes arrive. Now he's angled up pretty well, but I might catch him with two here. And I do. No flooding, but still, roughly 15,000 damage. I'll take it. Now I considered continuing to move south, and ultimately I may end up doing that. But I want to see if these guys are going to turn back toward me, or whether they're going to continue going the direction that they're going. And then the Kagero pops up. Now the Kagero is a serious threat to our Thunderer, because our Thunderer is nose into him. You can see the enemy Druid takes out our Daring, and now the middle of the map is in jeopardy. Their Kagero's in a really great position against our Thunderer, and he's backed up by a Druid, which is a gunboat, a phenomenal gunboat. The Druid's got 127s. It's got 4 of them, but with a base 1.9 second reload, and they do a maximum of 2,200 a shell. It can sit in smoke, daka, cause a lot of damage, and just absolutely shred enemy destroyers. Now I might catch the Georgia here. That was kind of the idea. We'll see. Georgia and Marco Polo both out there, but I really feel like I need to help. Against this Kagero. So by doing what I've done, I've cut off one avenue of escape for the Kagero. He really can only fall back this way now. If he comes out this way, I'm going to have him. Right? And these battleships, I'm just going to continue to push forward. These battleships, they might get a shot on me, but this island's going to help protect me if that's how it plays out. Now, if Kagero runs this way and decides, well, I'll come around, I'll still catch him. Either way, I'm in a position to be able to limit what the Kagero can do. And you can see the Shimakaze. Hats off to you too there, Hoffel, for moving forward and forcing Kagero back. And you can see all of our battleships here are positioned to angle against Kagero torpedoes. Now, that's not a bad thing because we don't have any red ships out here to take advantage of broadside shots. So that was very smart. It's a good play. So we'll just continue going here. And I'm 17 seconds away from having more torpedoes up. I'm keeping an eye on my torpedo lanes there. Am I in position to be able to throw torpedoes and hit these battleships again? At the same time, I'm keeping an eye, and I'm really kind of hoping to see the Kagero come this way. Now, it looks like he's going to do just that. So I'm going to let him commit, and now I'm going to get the shells in the air. And he's dead. There's nowhere for him to go. And down he goes. Now, on the off chance that he had torpedoes loaded, I'm going to turn in here. And there they are. I didn't want to get caught by his torpedo strike. Our Shimakaze is able to avoid them as well. And no more Kagero. Now the Druid is still sitting here, and we got to deal with him because you can see the Shimakaze's. He's almost dead. He's got less than 1,000 HP. Now he's played a good game, and he's been trying to contest the center of the map here, and that's really important. We have to count on his detection radius to keep him alive, but he took a beating, and I'm guessing a lot of that came from the Druid. So I'm going to push forward here and see if I can't catch the Druid. The Druid's lost half of his HP, and I have a heal that's ready to go. I don't want to overcommit, get myself chewed to pieces. Oh, look at that. The Buffalo's crossing. I might be able to catch him in this lane. So I'm going to narrow this down. There we go. Get those torpedoes away. If Buffalo turns into that, he's going to take a face full of torpedoes. If he just continues in a straight line, he's going to take a broadside of torpedoes. And if he turns out, he's still going to eat torpedoes. It's just, I just got really lucky there. But because of the speed and direction he was heading and the direction I was heading and having torpedoes ready, I know I'm going to land some torpedoes on that guy. And I'm just going to push back a little ways to make sure I'm out of radar range in case he survives it, because I don't want to get radared and have the Druid able to smoke and just crush me. All right, so now there's the Druid. We know the Druid is there. And I'm debating about whether I want to give away my position. Now, what do I mean by that? So we know where the Druid is, right? He's right here. We've got Shimakaze here. We've got Ibuki here. Mine's here. Kearsarge pushing around the outside. If I tell the Druid that I'm here, then he just angles accordingly. So I'm noticing the Shimakaze is aimed this way or pointed this way. If he and the Ibuki continue to cross, the Druid might angle to them. And if he does, that's going to leave him susceptible to a torpedo strike from me. So let's just see what happens here. And I'm going to make sure I can still use this lane. And why am I not worried here? Well, I'm not worried here because the Druid, while it has fantastic guns, doesn't have any torpedoes. You can see it smoking up. And it's going to sit in there, angled against torpedo strike from straight ahead. And you can see torpedoes already came from that direction, which is, in my opinion, couldn't have been any better. Because now he's thinking, all right, I got to angle against where those came from. Enemy Rune takes out our Ibuki, and both teams now down to 6 ships. So he's not going to be expecting torpedoes from the direction my torpedoes are coming from. And if I hit him with one, he'll be just about dead, and his smokes aren't going to last that long. So there's the possibility I might be able to get him with guns here. We'll see. I do land a torpedo. He's down to 465 HP. He's dead. It's just a question of who's going to shoot him first. He's going to try and accelerate forward to get out from under my shells, and in the process, he gets blapped by the Thunderer. And this game now is looking pretty good for us. You know, I know that that may sound a little weird to say because we don't have a cap circle, but we're going to have the middle here, I think, here in a second. Now, their Rune can push up and stop that. But if he does, he's making himself susceptible to shots from, well, here in a second, from the Kearsarge. So we'll just see what he does. But I can definitely move south here now. Only their Shimakaze remains, and look where he was last seen. Oh, that Rune, that's just a one-shot kill. I think the Shimakaze has been hunting the Thunderer. If I had to guess, the Shimakaze is probably out here somewhere. We'll see. That's my guess. So I know I've got this whole half of the map to work with. You can see these battleships are just getting out of here. They've only got 4 ships. We've still got 5. We're going to have the cap circles. I don't see any way for them to hold them. The fact that we have 2 destroyers and that both of our destroyers are in the cap circles, their destroyers on the map edge, or at least last time he was seen was. And you can see that our Thunderer, he's angled this way, which is he's expecting the Shima to be where I was saying. And we'll see whether the Thunderer is able to get out of there or whether he eats a face full of torpedoes. See how wily the Shimakaze player is. Now, Georgia, I think he's going to head south. Just how fast is he going to head south? Can I catch him with some of these? Now, like I mentioned before, he's fast. I don't want to get caught by him, so I'm going to go wide around this island. And why did I fire? Well, I wanted to just basically distract him. Their Georgia secondaries, as I mentioned earlier, take out our Shima, who gets himself spotted between those islands. And I do catch Georgia with 4 torpedoes and a flood, but he's got his heel going after a repair party, so he's going to be fine. We're down to 4 ships, but the bad guys are down to 3. We have a big points lead. We're going to have the cap circles. I'm going to stay in this outer circle. That Thunderer, he's not long for this world, right? Somebody's going to finish him. Mark here, Sarge. You can hear his shells flying over.
Victory is in sight.
So their Thunderer, he's really just one shell away from being sunk. And I think this game is pretty firmly in the bag. Now, this was a fun game to play. I think it's a great example of what positioning can do with your torpedoes as our Thunderer takes out theirs.
Our team has taken.
And I'll just say that the remainder of this game, it's not too exciting. So to me, what are the important things about this game? What do I hope you'll take away from it? Well, you see, I didn't overcommit on this side. I waited to see what was here. Of critical importance, I wanted to make sure that the radar cruiser wasn't parked behind this island with a bunch of people out here. And if I push too far forward, get radared, and then all these guys are shooting me until I'm sunk. So just, played it cool on the outside edge till I had some idea what was out here. Once I knew, I threw torpedoes in the hope of catching people. I got a lucky hit on their gearing, which made him an easy kill for somebody. He got sunk here. I was able to continue to throw torpedoes and continue to push this way, getting angles, catching battleships between these islands, right, down here, forcing them to fall back, which opened the door for me to fall down this way until I realized their Kagero was threatening our battleships. Remember, we had 3 battleships up here. Ran up there, helped finish off that Kagero, then helped finish off the Druid, and now it's basically game over. Yeah, that pretty much spells the end. I can tell my team where I think the Shimakaze is at by using the radiolocation skill. It's the only ship left in the game, but he gets himself detected by the Thunderer, and this thing is all over. I feel like I had a pretty good game. It was very fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I really appreciate you spending a little time here. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.